Good morning, America. Breaking overnight, President Trump unveils his new strategy for Afghanistan.
We are not nation building again. We are killing terrorists.
He admits to an about-face, keeping American troops in the fight, but vowing this isn't a blank check. The reaction this morning as he heads to Arizona for a campaign-style rally, bracing for thousands of protesters.
Breaking overnight, high-speed train crash, a commuter nightmare. Dozens injured outside Philadelphia.
People down all over.
All riders on board injured. The investigation right now.
Life-threatening flash floods hit the heartland, sparking water rescues overnight. People pulled from the hoods of their cars, this water rising nearly 18 feet. Now the severe threat is moving east, 25 million Americans in its path.
And blinded by the lights, the Great American Eclipse captivating the country, millions watching coast to coast, sharing in the splendor, but now many asking, what did we do to our eyes?
Blinded by the light.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. Another great song, but so many people watching that eclipse that seeing spots was one of the top Google searches afterwards. I know my family, we were all concerned, like, did I do something to my eyes? But you know what? George Stephanopoulos doesn't have to worry because what were you doing during the eclipse, George?
I took a little nap. I was awake for most of it, but one person who was not taking a nap yesterday, the president, I wonder if he's seen spots. He looked right at it. They were yelling, don't look. The president did look. We hope he's okay this morning. Of course, hours later, he did give his primetime speech on Afghanistan, outlining his strategy for America's longest war. He says it's a dramatic shift from the past, certainly a dramatic shift for him. For years, he argued for pulling out, saying the war couldn't be won. The big questions this morning: what is victory? How many more troops will it take? How long is it going to take? We're going to talk to Ambassador Nikki Haley ahead about that.
That is all coming up. But first, let's get right to our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, for all the reaction to the president's Afghanistan speech. Good morning to you, Cecilia.
Amy, good morning to you. And the president is tweeting this morning in the wake of that speech, saying that the future of our country is strong. Now, he did not specify the number of troops that he wants on the ground in Afghanistan. He did not specify a withdrawal date, but he did make a rare admission. He says he was wrong about America's longest running war. In a rare primetime address to the nation, President Trump unveiled a new Afghanistan strategy with the rare admission of flip-flop.
My original instinct was to pull out. And historically, I like following my instincts. But all my life, I've heard that decisions are much different when you sit behind the desk in the Oval Office.
The president, who once said the war in Afghanistan was a complete disaster that warranted immediate withdrawal,
Let's get with it. Get out of Afghanistan.
is now committing American troops to a fight there for the foreseeable future.
We are not nation building again. We are killing terrorists.
Taking aim at the enemy.
They are nothing but thugs and criminals and predators and, that's right, losers.
And also at Pakistan.
We can no longer be silent about Pakistan's safe havens for terrorist organizations. It is time for Pakistan to demonstrate its commitment to civilization, order, and to peace.
He's following the advice of his generals, who argue the only way to ultimately beat back the Taliban and ISIS is with more American boots on the ground.
We will not talk about numbers of troops or our plans for further military activities. Conditions on the ground, not arbitrary timetables, will guide our strategy from now on.
But he is also trying to turn a new page on one of the worst weeks in his presidency. After accusations that he divided the nation in the wake of Charlottesville, now President Trump is talking unity.
When we open our hearts to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice, no place for bigotry, and no tolerance for hate.
Now, Republicans like Paul Ryan and John McCain are praising the president's speech, but one Kentucky Republican Congressman, Thomas Massey, says, take a look at this, I had hoped the Afghanistan war would end soon, but now it's inevitable that babies born during the war will be deploying to the war in 2019. The Taliban is also responding. The state A Taliban spokesman calls the president's speech on Afghanistan unclear and old, George.
Okay, Cecilia, thanks very much. Let's get more on this now from America's UN Ambassador, Nikki Haley. She joins us from the White House this morning. Ambassador Haley, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, the president said last night, we will win in Afghanistan, but he didn't define victory. So can you define victory specifically for the American people?
Well, I think what we're trying to do is defeat terrorism of all kinds. And I think in Afghanistan, what it's become is a safe haven. But it's not just about Afghanistan, it's also about the region. And so I think what you're seeing the president and the generals do is basically say, look, let's stay focused. Let's look at the terrorist attacks that could happen on American soil, but let's go after terrorism. And I think what you heard last night was strong. It was solid. I was in the National Security Council meetings, which there were multiple meetings. I saw the process of where it went. I saw this president ask a lot of questions, and I saw him want to go in a different direction. And I think it's a direction that's good for the country.
But Ambassador Haley, as you know, we've been there for almost 16 years now going after the terrorists. So I repeat my question, what is victory?
Well, I think victory is obviously that we want to see that we're defeating terrorism, we're defeating Taliban, we're defeating Al-Qaeda, we're defeating ISIS. And I think what you're going to see is with this plan, it's not going to be like the past 16 years where you knew how many troops and where and what. It's going to be very calculated. It's going to be very strategic. But more importantly, it's not going to be based on time. It's going to be based on results. And I think we've seen results like that. If you look at our the way we're taking on ISIS in Syria and Iraq, if you look at the way we've handled North Korea, this is all very results driven. It's not about the talk, it's about getting things done.
But as you know, a lot of people hear that. They hear no ceiling on troops. They hear no timetable. They think that is a blank check.
Well, it's not a blank check. I can assure you the president was never going to allow a blank check, which is why he started in the beginning saying this war has gone on too long. 17 years is too long. We've lost too many lives and we've spent too much money. That's why this approach is going to be very different. But what you're not going to hear are the details. In the past, we've had administrations that have given out everything we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. You're not going to hear that now. But you can rest assured that our generals are very strategic, they're very ready, and we're going to lift up the Afghan forces. That's the goal, but we're also going to lean on the region. Pakistan can no longer be a safe haven for terrorism. India needs to step up and do their part. We're going to have our NATO allies very much involved in this, and we're going to push to win. I
want to move on because the president also talked last night about the need to heal our divisions at home. When you were governor of South Carolina after those horrific Charleston murders, you took on the white supremacists. You took down the Confederate flag, and you spoke out when the candidate Trump was very slow to disavow David Duke and the KKK. I want to show what you had to say then.
We saw and looked at true hate in the eyes last year in Charleston. I will not stop until we fight a man that chooses not to disavow the KKK. That is not a part of our party. That's not who we want as president. We will not allow that in our country.
Eventually, candidate Trump did disavow David Duke and the KKK. But what were you thinking last week when you saw the president blame both sides for the violence in Charlottesville, when you said that many very fine people were marching with the white supremacists?
Well, I picked up the phone and I had a private conversation with the president about Charlottesville, and it was taken very well. What I will tell you is there is no room for bigotry and hate in this country. I know the pain that hate can cause, and we have to isolate them the way they want to isolate others.
Did the president understand he made a mistake?
I think the president clarified so that no one can question that he's opposed to bigotry and hate in this country, and that when our soldiers go out and fight, they fight unified. We need to make sure that we're a country that's unified back home.
Yet he still says that taking down Confederate statues is foolish. You took down the Confederate flag from the State House in Charleston.
Well, you know, it was the state that decided, but what our focus was, the Confederate flag was a living, breathing thing. It was representative of the here and now, and there was no place for that, especially after we saw 9 people murdered with the killer raising up the Confederate flag. And so that's why we brought it down. When the issue of monuments came up in South Carolina at that same time, We knew that we couldn't take down every monument or change every street sign or change the name of every university because there's history all throughout South Carolina. But instead, what we did is we worked with the mayor of Charleston to work on building an African memorial and an African museum. And that's what's happening right now. And so it's not just about what you take down, it's about what you proactively do to lift up your state and lift up your country.
Ambassador Haley, thanks for your time this morning.
Okay, thanks so much.
Also this morning, President Trump facing more fallout from his Charlottesville response. Our new ABC News Washington Post poll showing just 28% of Americans approve of how he handled Charlottesville, 56% disapprove. And last night, House Speaker Paul Ryan speaking about the president's response, saying he, quote, messed up. And in the wake of the Charlottesville events, the mayor of Phoenix has asked the president to postpone his campaign rally there tonight. However, the Trump campaign is moving forward, and our chief national correspondent Tom Yamas is there in Phoenix with all the latest on that. Good morning to you, Tom.
Amy, good morning to you. The mayor of Phoenix, who is a Democrat, has begged the president not to show up. He says the timing is too close to Charlottesville, and there is a real fear that things could explode tonight. Here's why. The president will speak here just behind me at the convention center. His supporters are going to be here. You can see they're setting up some of the concrete barriers. About a block away, tens of thousands of protesters, all types. People like pro-immigrant groups, but also the Antifa, the people who aren't afraid to destroy property or start fights. We also know there's a group, Bikers for Trump, who are going to roll in here to protect the Trump supporters. Police staffing levels are at the highest, and Amy, the Arizona National Guard is also on standby just in case. The big wild card tonight, will President Trump pardon former Sheriff Joe Arpaio? He was one of the biggest names, one of the strongest early supporters of President Trump. That being said, his critics say he used racial profiling tactics here in Arizona. A court agreed with him, and he actually was convicted of contempt of court for not listening to a judge in that racial profiling case. He tells ABC News he does not plan to be here. The Trump campaign has not invited him, but if he gets a pardon, he, of course, will accept it. Adding to all of this, Amy, it's supposed to be 105 degrees once the demonstrations start. Amy?
All eyes on Phoenix tonight. Tom, thank you so much.
It is going to be a tense night there. We're going to get the latest now on the investigation into the Trump campaign and Russia. A key figure behind the controversial dossier detailing unsubstantiated allegations about the Trump team's ties to Russia is set to speak with investigators on Capitol Hill today. And our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, is here with the story. Good morning, Brian.
Well, good morning, George. Republicans in Congress today will step up efforts to find out who and what was behind that controversial so-called dossier that claimed so far without substantiation that the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians to hack into Democratic Party computers and worse.
A key witness is due on Capitol Hill today, Glenn Simpson, a former journalist who specialized in money laundering and Russian organized crime, and then led the private investigation of Trump and Russia last year. This is how Simpson described what he does at a recent film festival.
I call it journalism for rent.
Simpson first began his efforts when Trump was running in the Republican primary. According to political operatives, Simpson was initially paid about $1 million by wealthy Republicans and then more later by Democrats who both wanted him to dig up dirt on Trump and plant negative news stories. The 35-page dossier on the so-called Russian connection to Trump, with some very salacious allegations, including unsubstantiated claims about Trump in a Moscow hotel room, was not completed until just before the election, and then provided to journalists, the Clinton campaign, and the FBI, all to the outrage of Donald Trump.
I saw the information. I read the information outside of that meeting. It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
Now, many Republicans in Congress are working to discredit the dossier and Simpson.
We will also pursue details about Mr. Simpson's role in this event and the creation and circulation of the dossier that started this whole controversy.
Congress also wants to talk with the former British spy who Simpson hired to investigate Trump's so-called Russian connection, Christopher Steele. But so far, he is refusing to talk. Steele has met with the FBI and provided agents with the names of his sources about the allegations in the dossier. Allegations the special counsel continues to investigate, George.
Yeah, there's a lot of fronts for that investigation right now. Brian Ross, thanks very much.
All right, and now to that breaking news from overnight. Dozens injured in a train crash outside of Philadelphia when a high-speed train ran into one that was parked at that station. Authorities are now investigating the incident, and ABC's Gio Benitez is there on the scene with all the latest. Good morning, Gio.
Amy, good morning to you. We're talking about 42 people injured in this crash. I want to step out of the way here so you could zoom in and take a look at that train right there. It's got the yellow police tape around it. The investigation very much underway.
Actionable in trolley. We got people down all over.
Overnight, ambulances rushing to a Pennsylvania train station after 42 people were injured in a crash on a high-speed rail line.
I have about 6 or 7 seriously injured people on the trolley.
Officials tell us a late-night commuter train barreled into a parked rail car shortly after midnight as it pulled into its final stop outside of Philadelphia.
We got to the terminal, I stood up and smack, hit the other trolley parked.
Witnesses say there was no sign of a problem before the train suddenly slammed into the other car.
My face hit the wall, put a big hole in the wall, and then I went straight down. I blacked out. There's blood everywhere.
All of the riders on board were hurt in the crash, including at least 4 people with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Earlier this year, a similar scene at the same station. 4 people injured after a SEPTA train failed to stop, slamming into cars and causing multiple derailments. This morning, SEPTA officials are investigating why today's train didn't stop in time.
And back out here live, you can see that train right there. Investigators are still looking at it. The good news right now, all of those injured passengers are expected to recover. George?
Thank goodness for that, Gio. Thanks very much. Now to new developments in that Navy tragedy. Divers have found some remains this morning as they search for those 10 sailors missing after a U.S. destroyer collided with an oil tanker. Authorities are not ruling out cyber sabotage, and ABC's Bob Woodard is tracking it all from Singapore.
After more than a day of searching the sea and ship for 10 sailors, overnight, one of the missing sailors, identified as 3rd-class Petty Officer Logan Palmer, an interior communications electrician from Decatur, Illinois. His family telling ABC News, as you can imagine, this is a very difficult time for our family. The Navy destroyer collided with an oil tanker early Monday morning off the coast of Singapore, leaving a gaping hole in the ship's hull, causing water to rush in and flood crew berths, machinery, and communication rooms.
Now, without question, this Strait of Malacca is the busiest strait in the world. It connects the Indian and the Pacific Oceans. About a quarter of the world's oil is shipped through here. And in this area, it is only about 1.5 miles wide. And so when you look at it, you realize why it is the most dangerous choke points for shipping in the world.
5 sailors were injured in the collision, including Naveen Ramdan, who was asleep when the vessel was hit. His mother says he broke several bones in his hand. Although naval collisions are rare, this is the 4th Navy mishap in the Pacific this year, and a major crash in 2 months. The head of the naval operations is ruling out nothing, including cyber intrusion or sabotage in the investigation. No indications right now, Admiral John Richardson wrote in a tweet, but review will consider all possibilities.
Now, the Navy has called for an operational pause, which means it will conduct a full safety review in all U.S. fleets all around the world. George?
Okay, Bob Woodruff, thanks very much.
All right, some serious weather headlines to get to. Ginger, who is out in Nashville, has much more on life-threatening flash floods.
Part of Kansas City, Missouri, Amy, is underwater right now. I want to take you to these pictures. Overland Park Fire Department tells us at least 16 water rescues. Kansas City officials can't keep up with the calls. They've been inundated overnight as 10 inches of rain falls. They just did this some 3 weeks ago. There are areas that have now had more than 2 feet of rain in less than a month. This is a huge deal this morning. We'll be following this and the severe weather threat from Kentucky to New Hampshire in just a bit. But let's go ahead and get right now to the Tuesday Trivia brought to you by CarMax.
When you buy a used car, you should feel confident. That's why CarMax has over 40,000 cars to choose from nationwide, with prices clearly marked, the same online as they are in the stores. That should give you some car buying confidence, the type of confidence you need to wear white after Labor Day, the type of confidence to suddenly switch to an English accent for no reason whatsoever. Yep, at CarMax, it's all about confidence. Nothing but net. Nailed it. Or should I say, nailed it, governor.
Daytime highs today in the low 90s. Definitely feeling very steamy this afternoon with our feels-like temperatures in the triple digits. It's a mostly dry afternoon. Marginal risk for some severe storms in the D.C. area, but an approaching cold front could bring in some gusty storms well off to our west. As we check out futurecasts, no rain for lunchtime today, but as we head into the overnight hours, that approaching front could bring in some lingering showers and thunderstorms for the overnight hours.
On GMA, a new twist in the unsolved disappearance of Natalie Holloway, the teen who vanished 12 years ago on a high school trip. There is a possible new discovery. Her father is speaking out on GMA.
One moment we're snuggling, and the next he wants nothing to do with me.
Duke Mewington says you're ignoring his needs. How does that make you feel?
What? I give him treats. I take care of the litter box.